For first reading. The House now comes to questions for oral answer, and the first question is in the name of John Hayes.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. How is the government's economic program supporting New Zealand families, particularly those on low incomes with dependent children?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the most important thing the government is doing is building a competitive economy that creates more jobs and supports higher incomes. Since the tax changes of 2010, households earning less than $60,000, which is around 50% of all households, receive more in income and accommodation support, paid parental leave, working for families and welfare support than they pay in income tax. That is, they receive more income from the government than they pay to the government in tax. We've also provided extra support for the most vulnerable families. This includes, for instance, $190 million for the next stage of welfare changes to help more New Zealanders out of welfare dependency and into work, and $100 million to extend the home insulation program, along with many other versions of support for our most vulnerable families.
Supplementary. John Hayes.
According to the latest economic data, how are families benefiting from the improving economic outlook and the government's economic program?
Mr Speaker, every family's situation is different, and times remain challenging for many families, but there are encouraging indicators. Cost of living increases remain low at just over 1%, and interest rates remain low. In fact, today about half what they were 5 years ago for first mortgage interest rates. In the past 2 years, average wages have increased faster than inflation, and there are 65,000 more jobs in the economy than 2 years ago. But most importantly, businesses are indicating they are feeling more confident and more likely to hire and to provide wage increases which will benefit families.
Supplementary. John Hayes.
What reports has he received on how a so-called living wage would impact on a two-adult, two-child family?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, well, the government supports higher wages and incomes for all New Zealanders, including families. I have received a report from the Treasury that shows that families with 2 adults and 2 children represent only 6% of the families who earn below $18.40 an hour. The vast majority, almost 80% of families earning below the so-called living wage, are either single adults or couples with no children. That makes the living wage an extremely poorly targeted intervention to support low-income families.
Supplementary. John Hayes.
What other conclusions does the Treasury's analysis reach on the so-called living wage?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, well, the Treasury, I'm sure, believes that people being paid more is better for families and better for economies. It's just that everyone else in the country, except for the Labor Party, knows that if you could legislate for income levels, then why wouldn't you pick a wage of $25 an hour? Why are they being mean and picking $18.40? And Mr Speaker, the report also, a Ministry of Social Development study, also deals with the slogan that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. MSD reports show that income inequality has been declining since the mid-2000s. Household incomes have been rising for all deciles except the top 10% of earners.
Question number 2, the Honourable David.